All right, stay warm, Cameron. Thanks so much. And we do turn now to spring high school football season in review. As the WIAA's alternate football season comes to a close tonight, those involved consider this unprecedented spring season a success. Sports Director Brandon Kennard live here with a closer look. Brandon?
John, more than 24 high schools in Northeast Wisconsin opted out of the traditional fall season and into this alternate spring football season. Only 2 of them had to cancel games because of COVID-19. That's a significant difference from the teams that played in fall. And while there were some uncertainties going into this season, most everyone seems happy going out.
It's weird for sure.
Going to be different. It's March.
A sampling of uncertain expectations from a few months back as high school football teams prepared for an unprecedented spring season. 2 months later, those in charge say the season is considered a success.
Without question, I think the kids were much better prepared so they could deal with, the social distancing and everything else that goes with it. So I think it was a big plus. I don't think they would have been playing as much in the fall as they did in this alternate season.
The numbers back that statement up. This spring, the Fox Valley Classic Conference had to cancel just 4 of its 70 scheduled games due to COVID-19. That's about 6%. Compare that to last fall when the Bay Conference canceled 6 of its 27 games. That's 22%. And the Northeastern Conference, 4 of its 26 games, 15%.
Just a credit to the coaches and the athletic directors. They work hard to keep their players safe, emphasizing all the mitigation, the mask wearing, the social distancing. I don't think people realize how hard the athletic directors and coaches have had to work during this school year to keep their kids safe.
The benefits go beyond the sheer number of games played. One coach points out the overall experience was likely better this spring than it would have been last fall, when many sets of bleachers across the state were left empty.
Nice thing is, a positive with the spring is, we've been able to play in front of a crowd. We've been able to play in front of a student section. We've been able to do some of those things where I don't know what would have happened in the fall. I can't predict that, but I know it was important for these kids to play in front of a crowd, and we were able to do that each week, so I'm really happy about that.
Caleb Frazier, 65 yards.
The bottom line is the kids got to play. They didn't get to play last fall. They were able to get a season in. So I think that was certainly a plus, especially for the seniors.
Now, the spring season did have a few downsides. Teams were only allowed to schedule 7 games, whereas teams that played in the fall were allowed 9 games. Another challenge, a 2-week overlap here with traditional spring sports like baseball and track and field. The FRCC commissioner, who you heard from in that story, says that has been a challenge, and several baseball games have had to be postponed. And there was also no traditional state playoffs, though teams that played in the fall didn't have that either. Now, I noted there were significantly fewer COVID-related cancellations this spring. That coincides with the statewide case numbers that were reported last fall compared to this spring. Back to John now for a closer look at that.
Brandon, thank you. And yes, a look at COVID-19 cases statewide in the fall versus now. On the first day of the high school football season in the fall, the recent average of new daily cases statewide of COVID-19 was more than 1,800, as you see on your screen right here. It would climb to more than 5,100 by the last day of the season. Compare that to this season, the spring version. Well, on the first day of the spring season, the figure was 411 statewide per day. It's never gone higher than 808, which is where it peaked. And tomorrow is the last day under the WIAA schedule to hold a game for the season. Today, the figure at 588. That's about 11% of what it was on the last day of the fall season. Our closer look tonight.